Aloha, everybody. Thank you for joining me, your host, Joey Rocha, for another episode of Flat Earth Live. Also joining me is my beautiful vaccine-free and healthy as can be daughter, Ariel Lynn Rocha. And today I'm going to be talking about the dome theory on steroids. But don't call it a theory, because what I'm going to present to you today is factual. I'm going to prove that there's a dome. I'm going to prove what the dome is made out of. And I'm also going to prove to you what color it is and how it was made in only 10 minutes. You ready to have some fun? Do me a favor, invite some friends so everybody can learn at the same time. This is inspired knowledge. Not only is it inspired knowledge, but it's knowledge from some really, really studly flat earthers like Robert Pisano, Eric Dollard, Robert Shortman, John, and a few other flat earth studs in the community. So if you're ready to have some fun and you want to take some notes, get ready. In 10 minutes, you're going to know that there is a dome. Guaranteed. You're going to know what it's made out of, what made it, what exactly it's made out of, how we know it, and how we can prove it. All in 10 minutes. That's right. And the clock's already winding down. That's how easy it is to prove there's a dome above our heads. All right, with no further ado, let's start. First of all, how can we prove that there's a dome above our heads in the first place? Right? How can we prove it? Well, look, the Bible says it. Vedic texts say it. All the ancient cultures, the Polynesians, the Chinese, the Egyptians, they all said that there was a dome above our head, right? But how do we prove it? Let's get some science here. Well, the science of lightning. Lightning strikes up, not down, originating from the ground. And the noise that we hear, that we call thunder, is none other than reverberation or echo effect from the upward striking lightning hitting the dome, reverberating back as a delayed roar going above our heads. Okay, so in the title of this video, in the title of this video, I say the dome theory on steroids. And then I also posted a video. It's only 2 minutes long. You can watch it right now while we're live, or you can watch it later. But it's 2 minutes long, and it describes a common urban legend. Most people think lightning strikes down. Look, it's not true. There's an invisible downward electrical leader that comes to the ground, but that acts as a pathway for Earth's electrostatic energy to be shot upwards. So that light that you see, what we call lightning, that is what I'm talking about. And that upward striking lightning or plasma goes upwards in a tree-like projection, hitting something vast and solid. If there was nothing solid and vast up in the sky, a dome, a vast solid dome, then we would have no echo, roar, reverberation, because you see, it would simply continue going into the infinity of space. Plus, if there was no dome, NASA would be right, space would be infinite. There's only two choices. You were either encapsulated, or the world, or Earth, or the universe, whatever they call it, is infinite, right? Probably never thought of that before. But anyway, so lightning proves going up and coming back down, the noise of thunder, as the ancients said too, proves that there's something vast and solid above our head. Okay, so check that one out. Okay, we got something above our heads. Now, what is it? Okay, great. You cannot create a rainbow indoors without the use of a prism. You can't do it. So something outdoors is acting as a prism. So whatever's solid and vast above our head must be a crystalline structure. Great. Now we go, okay, we have something solid above our head and it's crystalline. Wow, all the ancients said it was glass. Well, if that's true, if some type of crystalline glass, what color could it be? Well, if you never thought of that question before, it's very important. And you'll find out as you stay tuned to this very, very informative, the dome theory on steroids. Okay, so air is clear or transparent, yet it looks blue during the day. Water's clear or transparent, yet it looks blue during the day. The ozone layer is even visibly blue. Why is that? Well, if you put a water into a glass that's blue, it'll give off the bluish hue of the glass. Red glass, the same occurrence. You'll get the reddish hue. A purple glass, you'll get the reddish hue, and so on and so forth. Or if you put it into a clear glass, you'll have no color whatsoever. So we know that this crystalline surface above our head that's solid and vast can't be clear. It must contain a color, and that color, in fact, must be blue. Whoa! Now let's see if we have some factual evidence, which we do, here on Earth that could prove it. How in the world could we get that much blue glass to encapsulate the entirety of all the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, all the continents that we know of. That's a massive amount of glass. Well, turns out we do. The only way to make natural glass is lava, and we have an abundant amount of lava here on Earth. How do you make blue glass? Well, when you cool lava rapidly, it turns into blue glass. Wow! But wait, it's going to get better. So, what would be the conditions for that? Well, remember this. I'm going to use my mouse pad to represent the circular flat plane of Earth described in the Bible. And remember, there's an ice ring encapsulating us. Just inside of that ice ring, if you follow volcanism, is what's called a ring of fire. Now that goes along the equator. But if you flip that onto a flat Earth map, it's just on the inner ring, encircling the inner border of the Arctic ice ring, the ice wall. So as the lava spews out, it's forming blue glass. And as it built up and builds up, it formed together at the zenith, creating a dome encapsulated aquaponics terrarium blue glass. Now, that sounds pretty amazing, and it sounds very theoretical, right? That's why I call this the dome theory on steroids, because that's all theory so far, because it's very provably speculative. Do we have any solid proof like we do for the flat Earth? Do we have any, like the Bedford level experiment for the flat Earth? Do we have any solid proof like we have as a Michelson-Morley interferometer experiment for the Earth being motionless, as far as the dome being made of blue glass from volcanic lava? Yes, we do. What we call shooting stars aren't actually shooting stars. Those are just a name. Okay, the Bible doesn't call them shooting stars. There's no mention of those in the Bible, right? So what we see on a regular basis that we call shooting stars is simply pieces of the blue obsidian dome as the dome falling. So stick with me. It sounds crazy. If the sky's falling, I know you're thinking, what? That's what Chicken Little said. No, not really that. Something different. Okay, so obsidian dome, blue obsidian dome. Obsidian and glass is interchangeable. So if obsidian is distracting you, just call it glass. It's the same thing. As the lava that flows continually renews itself and builds the dome up, it's also, the dome is acting as our skin does, and it's continually shedding in the form of perlite, P-E-R-L-I-T-E, common potting soil. You see, the only way to make perlite on Earth, well, the only way to make perlite anywhere is the byproduct of obsidian, lava, volcanic lava glass. There's no other way on Earth to make this stuff. And here's the kicker. It's abundant here on Earth. That means we'll never run out of it. We have storehouses of the millions of tons per country, and we use it for everything. Cement, we use it for fertilizer, for all kinds of different uses, right? We're finding more uses every day. So we have an abundant amount of it here on Earth. We mine it up, and it's everywhere. We don't know where it's coming from. It's non-renewable, yet it's abundant. Now, here's where I'm piecing two and two together. Did you know, if you go on YouTube or your favorite search video search engine, and you type in perlite expanded, E-X-P-A-N-D-E-D, what you'll see is that they take the perlite that they mine and they heat it up to a temperature above 800 degrees, and what happens is, just like popcorn, it pops, and it turns a brilliant, bright white color, leaving a streaky, long white tail behind it, exactly looking like what we call a shooting star. So as this stuff is forming on the inner portion of our encapsulated dome, because you see the way perlite forms is the air molecules, the ether that's above our head right now and that's in front of us right now, is also everywhere. And as it is attached also to the upper atmospheric dome, it leaches out water from inside of the blue obsidian dome. That's how perlite's made. And so when it does, after it gets heavy enough, it actually drops, and it's really light and styrofoamy. But as it catches speed, because it's falling, it also gains temperature. And as that temperature increases, it eventually gets up to a temperature above 800 degrees, causing it to give us that shooting star effect that we see. So perlite is what we call shooting stars. The dome is made of blue obsidian, and it's being continually renewed, shedding and renewing itself, just like human skin does. Remember, God made us from the earth itself. So the earth is living. So that's where everything comes from, the earth itself, right? So it makes sense. Also, the dome, according to the Bible, has all the stars attached to it. All the stars are attached to it. Not the planets, well, they're not planets, but what we call planets, not the sun and the moon, but all the stars. Now you've seen star trails. They go in a perfect circle. That means the dome is rotating one complete 360-degree rotation per day. And as it continually renews itself, it's continually shedding in the form of perlite. Ta-da! Okay, I'll answer some questions now. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate everybody. And Jimmy Delaco, and Francis Baker, and Paul Barron, and Lucas, and Dave Marsh. What's up, Dave Marsh? And can't pronounce a couple of these names, but Delnelli and Jake. Lucas says, Cheehu! Cheehu! Lucas, glad you know how to give a Hawaiian call. Jenny and Sue and Auntie Brenda, I love you. I love you so much, Auntie Brenda. Thank you for always being a big fan. My Auntie Brenda is a flat earther. She's a beautiful Native American princess. And she's brave, and she's full of heart and wonderful, and she's my auntie, and she raised me, helped raise me. And thank God for that, because she's full of heart and love. So thank you, Auntie, for joining. Jake Hovrath says, where's outside of creation? There's a Bible verse that says God hangs earth on nothing. Yeah, exactly, brother. So God hangs earth on nothing. Earth is actually sitting inside of, or on, or in the primordial waters. So that's where basically this big, huge, buoyant, floating, we're hanging on nothing. That's what it's talking about. So we're literally floating in the ocean, basically. You can look at it that way. As a chandelier, it says, right? Francis Baker, thank you for joining. Thank you for the heart. Ken Sommer, and my Auntie Brenda's giving me a heart too. My wife Erin Mizumoto joins. Thank you, sweetheart. If you could share this, that'd be great, you guys. Jerry Dusteroff, what's up, brother? Marie Christine Gutierrez, what's up? And Sue says, unrelated, but the Twin Towers were made out of perlite, which was asbestos and cement, and poured as needed. No longer used, left asbestos everywhere. Why they weren't rentable after lawsuits. Yeah, so as we know, perlite is abundant here on Earth. Where does it come from? They don't know. That's the thing. They don't know where it comes from, but they know it's abundant. We use it for everything here. Where does it come from? The only way to make it is the byproduct of obsidian. There's got to be a massive amount of this obsidian somewhere. Well, it's right above our heads, you guys. So that was the easiest 10-minute dome theory on steroids proof I could ever give you. Christine says, man, I missed it. Well, Christina, you want me to tell you it again? It only takes me like 4 minutes. All right, let's go. You ready? Choo! Shannon Grants Roberts joined, so I got to do it again. Jake says, good answer. Also, sun and moon, are they flat as well? Yes, they are. They're acting as spotlights. They're discs. The moon's a transparent disc. The sun is according to the Bible, it's pounded out as gold and a few other materials, acting as a projecting lens. So yes, they are, and they don't give light 360 degrees like a light bulb does. They shine down as a localized light. So good question, brother. And Christina, you want me to, okay, so she says yes. Okay, here we go. So how do we know there's a dome above our head? The reason why we know this for a fact is because lightning, the science of lightning says this. I'm not being controversial. This is what science, traditional science says. They say that lightning strikes up. It's just an urban legend that it goes down. You see it in cartoons. But the fact is, I put a video in there as proof because I know people are going to doubt me. But most people know this already now. But anyways, lightning strikes up, not down. So the noise that we hear as thunder, that delayed noise, is because lightning goes up, hits the dome, and bounces back as a reverberation or a localized echo or roar. Okay, so we know there's something solid and vast above our heads. Now, what is it? What is this thing made out of? Well, the only way to get a rainbow indoors is the use of a prism. Can't make one indoors otherwise. So you need some kind of glass or prism. So we know that whatever is above our head is solid, and whatever above our head is made out of a crystalline substance. Well, what color could that substance be? It's got to be blue. Why? Because water and air are transparent or clear. And the only way, there's no other way, the only way that they could be blue is because the crystalline structure above our head is blue. If you take a glass of blue, a blue glass, and put some water in there, the water will appear blue. You take a red glass and the water will appear red. Take a purple glass, it'll appear purple. Brown glass, it'll appear brown, so on and so forth. You put it in a clear glass, it'll appear clear like it is. So we know that what's above our head is blue. We know it's glass. We know it's crystalline glass. And we also know that it's solid. However, how do we know for a fact that it could be because imagine how much of that material must be necessary. It's got to be very thick, and it's got to encompass the entirety of this flat plane of Earth, which is the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, all the continents and everything, right? So it's a massive amount, and the Revelation says it's a sea of glass. Well, it turns out I'm an expert in volcanism, been studying it for over 12 years, and that's where this whole thing pays off. The only way to make natural blue glass is lava cooled rapidly. At the extremities of our circular plane of Earth is an ice wall. And just inside that ice wall, if you follow volcanism, is the ring of fire. Now, on a flat Earth, it goes along the equator. I'm sorry, on a globe Earth, it goes along the equator. But you flatten that out, and now it's just on the inner circle of the Arctic ice wall. So it's the perfect conditions for blue obsidian to be made. Okay, just because everything is working out so far, it's still a theory. How do we make this a proof? Well, all you have to do is look for evidence here on Earth. If you can find that, then there you go, you got your proof. Perlite, that's what it is. Perlite is common potting soil. That white stuff that you see, it's common potting soil. And the only way to make it is the byproduct of obsidian. You can't make it any other way. It's impossible. That's all there is to do. That's all there is to say. Can't make it another way. So science says, and it's true, that perlite is abundant here on Earth. We have so much of it, we can never run out of it in a million years. However, they don't even know where it comes from. It's non-renewable. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is pieces of the obsidian dome falling and catching speed that increases the heat temperature, causing it to expand, turning bright white, leaving a tail behind it. How do we know this? Because that's what they do. When they mine perlite, this really light styrofoamy stuff, they take it to a laboratory, heat it up to above 800 degrees, and if you see the videos of it on YouTube, you'll see it turns bright white. It increases its size by about 15 times, not percent, but times, and it leaves a long white streaky tail behind it, just exactly no different than what we call a shooting star. So here's how it works. So obsidian, air leaches out, air molecules leach out water slowly over time from this obsidian glass. And as it does, eventually it gets heavy, and then it breaks off from the dome that's continually renewing itself, and as it falls down to Earth, it catches speed, and that speed causes temperature change to increase, and it expands and causes a white tail behind it, and then eventually it falls to the Earth really light and burrows its way in a few feet, and we find this stuff and we use it for everything we can, but we don't know where it comes from. I'm telling you, it's coming from the sky. So there you go. How easy is that? I may have left out some stuff because I really abbreviated it. So Christina, just do me a favor and watch it from the beginning. You're wanting to know about sprites. I can answer that. But first, Jake says, attached to the firmament. Yes, the stars are attached to the firmament. And you know star trails, how you see them doing a complete 360-degree rotation? That means the dome's rotating, and that actually makes more sense. Because the dome's strength is not only in the fact that it's a dome, but also just like a potter's wheel, it's rotating. So continually renewing, that's also causing all the different atmospheric conditions here on Earth as well. Pretty amazing, right? One complete 360-degree rotation per day. And Christina says, what about sprites? Well, there's sprites, there's also cloud to cloud, but what I'm talking about is the lightning that causes the thunder. So the upward lightning causes thunder, right? People think it comes down, but that's an urban legend. It's like the Coriolis effect. It's sad that people think that, because it's not like I'm even competing with traditional science here. Literally, science, and just like the video I posted in the title of this video, proves, it's a 2-minute video, and it says a lot of people think that it goes down, but it actually goes up. It happens so fast, it's hard to know. But super slow-mo HD camera has been recording this for the last 15, 20 years, showing, wow, it does originate from the ground. Just like when you rub your feet on the carpet and you touch a metal doorknob, it's you. You're conducting that electricity out, and the close proximity of being near the metal doorknob causes it to bounce back. You hear the zap, and it's you that zapped the door. It's just reverberating back to you. If you go to a cave and you say, hello, and the cave says, hello, you're thinking to yourself, oh, cool, somebody's home. No, it's an echo, just like a roar from lightning hitting the dome, which is thunder. Also, really good things to know is that blue obsidian is also dielectric, which is a perfect conductor for lightning's energy, which lightning is just plasma, lightning's energy. And if you want to know what the dome is made of, I know I told you it's made of blue glass, blue obsidian, but if you want to get a little bit more precise, what is blue obsidian? What is glass? If I were to chemically explain it to you in a more root form, it's 2 ingredients: silicon and oxygen. So we're living in a blue glass, dome encapsulated, flat, motionless aquaponics terrarium in perpetual motion. And it is self-sustaining. Great, right? Also, I want to tell you one more thing. At the very upper layer of our atmosphere is, at the very top is helium. It's very cold. It's called superfluid helium at 0 degrees Kelvin, which is about 2 degrees above absolute zero. And that's responsible for all the atmospheric conditions that we have here on Earth as well. And how that's being made, my friend Eric Dollard and Robert Bassano explained this to me, is the sun. You know how they lie about everything? The sun's not hot and it's not a ball of fire. The sun's actually cold, like similar to how a refrigerator works. So what it's doing is the sun acts as a cold fusion machine that takes hydrogen, converts 4 hydrogens into 1 helium. So the byproduct of it converting this hydrogen is the byproduct of helium, superfluid helium at 0 degrees Kelvin. That's why helium balloons rise. And if you look into the properties of superfluid helium, you will understand, oh, that's what's layering at the upper area of the zenith of the dome and all the surrounding area. Well, no wonder when they send rockets up, they don't smash into the dome. It acts as a liquid solid at that temperature. It's acting as basically an invisible force field. So that's why those rockets, they just kind of go bunk and then just start coming back down. You can't penetrate it. And it's continually making itself, so you can't ruin it, because the sun is, as it rotates around Earth, it's actually the highest of all the disks. So it's not attached to the dome, but it's almost touching the dome. It's very close. And as it rolls around the dome, it's excreting as its byproduct superfluid helium. So it's continually making this stuff, and it's a self-operating system. So there you go. I said it twice in only 20 minutes. Glyden Nicholson, thank you for joining. And Sue says, I have seen the moon through my grandson's good telescope, and it was definitely round. Yes, it is round. So was Mars and Venus. But that doesn't mean God made us the same as he didn't, and none have life stuck around them and bending oceans. Just wanted to add, thanks. Yeah, but look, Sue, Isaiah 40:22 says that the earth is a circle, right? And a lot of people are like, well, see right there, it said circle, so it's round. No, no, no. There's a big difference between a circle and a sphere, just like there's a big difference between a square and a cube, and just like there's a big difference between a triangle and a tetrahedron. The Bible has exact uses for ball and for circle, and they chose to use circle. So just because it's circular, it's also flat. Okay, just like a penny is flat and circular. Flat, yeah. So thank you, Sue. I appreciate that. Eric Matsukonis, my homeboy, James Laska, and Alex Bandia gives me some love and a heart. I appreciate that. Well, guys, what do you think of this dome theory on steroids? I proved everything. And I've been talking about this for like, oh gosh, like 3.5, 4 years already. But I'm never going to stop talking about it until somebody can actually debunk one thing I've said, or if somebody can add to it or come up with something better. Because look, that's peer-reviewed science. Everything I pointed out to you, it's perlite is here. It's abundant on Earth. Yes, blue glass is made by lava cooling rapidly. We have all the conditions for it, etc., etc., etc. Lightning is the kicker that you know that there is something solid and vast above our head. And perlite is the checkmate, slam dunk, home run, grand slam, kicker, anchor that lets us know, oh, it is blue obsidian. Woo! Pretty amazing. Christina says, I always learn so much listening to you. Thank you for what you do. You're very welcome, Christina. Thank you. And Sue says, in Philly, not watching the Eagle game. Yay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I just wanted to have a little bit of fun. It's 4:20 in Hawaii right now, and I live up in the mountains. So you know what I'm going to be doing right now, right? If you don't know this already, you have an endocannabinoid system. And if you didn't know this already, you need cannabis, edible, and you need to smoke it. Just like you need vitamin C to prevent scurvy, and just like you need vitamin D to prevent depression and bone loss, you also need vitamin weed to thrive. Okay? Thanks a lot, guys. Do me a favor. I'm in Facebook jail. They always do that to me. They always ban me for whatever reason, so I can't share my own videos. So I'm relying on my homeboys and my homegirls out there in the flat earth community to share this video, and make sure when you share it for me that you put the title of the dome theory on steroids, and also copy and paste lightning strikes up, not down with my video proof in there, because inevitably people are going to say, no, lightning goes down. I saw it in the cartoon, right? No. Come on. Do even science, bro. All right, guys. Take care. I love you with all my heart from Maui, Hawaii to you. I'm going to be smoking it up, and I hope that you are too. Choo!